Let me start by saying my life used to be a complete mess, and the person who made it that way was none other than my own sister, Rachel. We were once close, but her actions shattered everything I thought I knew about family loyalty. 2 years ago, I was madly in love with my then fiancé, Mark. We'd been together for 3 years, had bought a house together, and were planning our dream wedding. I thought we were the perfect couple. Little did I know, Rachel had other plans. It started subtly. Rachel would always find reasons to hang out with us, constantly texting Mark, accidentally running into him when I wasn't around. I trusted them both implicitly, never suspecting a thing. My first real hint that something was wrong came during a family barbecue. I caught Rachel and Mark whispering in the corner, their body language way too intimate for my comfort. When I confronted Mark about it, he gasped dramatically and called me paranoid. Rachel played the innocent card, claiming they were just discussing a work project. But here's the kicker. Mark worked in tech sales, and Rachel was a kindergarten teacher. What possible work project could they have? A month later, I discovered the truth. I came home early from a work conference and found Mark's car in the driveway. Thinking he'd surprise me, I walked in quietly. That's when I heard them, the unmistakable sounds of passionate intimacy coming from our bedroom. And not just any sounds, and my sister's voice. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife could. My own sister had been sleeping with my fiancé right under my nose. When confronted, they had the audacity to look shocked, as if I was the one doing something wrong. Mark tried to blame me, saying I was always working and never home. Rachel? She didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. The fallout was brutal. My entire family took sides. My parents, disappointingly, tried to smooth things over. Maybe we can all talk this through, they'd say, as if sleeping with your sister's fiancé was something that could be discussed over Sunday dinner. I was devastated, humiliated, and completely broken. But little did they know, this was just the beginning of my story. The universe has a funny way of serving justice, and I was about to get mine. In the months that followed, I rebuilt myself. I focused on my career, hit the gym, traveled, and most importantly, I worked on healing my wounded heart and wounded pride. Mark and Rachel thought they'd destroyed me, but they had no idea what was coming. And trust me, what came next was something they never saw coming. 6 months after the betrayal, I was a completely different person. Gone was the heartbroken, defeated individual Mark and Rachel had left behind. I threw myself into self-improvement with a vengeance that would make a motivational speaker proud. My tech startup began to take off, and suddenly, I was the golden child of the local entrepreneurial scene. Investors were lining up, tech magazines wanted interviews, and my bank account was looking healthier than it ever had. But this wasn't just about professional success. This was about proving that I was more than just the person Mark and Rachel had discarded. Dating was the last thing on my mind, but then I met Alex. She was everything Mark wasn't, confident, driven, and ridiculously successful in her own right. A corporate lawyer with a heart of gold and ambition that matched mine. Our first date wasn't a typical dinner and drinks. We ended up discussing our 5-year business plans and comparing investment portfolios. It was like finding my perfect match. Meanwhile, I'd heard through the grapevine that Mark and Rachel's relationship was falling apart. Turns out, when you build a relationship on betrayal, the foundation is about as stable as a house of cards in a hurricane. They were struggling financially. Mark had lost his job, and Rachel was barely making ends meet as a teacher. My mother would occasionally try to bridge the gap, suggesting family gatherings or hinting at reconciliation. But I was done. The sister I thought I knew died the moment she stabbed me in the back. I was polite but distant, making it clear that some bridges, once burned, stayed burned. Alex understood my pain. She didn't push me to reconnect with my family or judge me for my reluctance. Instead, she supported me, listened to me, and loved me in a way I'd never experienced before. We got engaged 9 months after we met, a whirlwind romance that felt nothing like my previous relationship with Mark. The wedding was a far cry from the modest affair I'd planned with Mark. We had a destination wedding in Bali, with only our closest friends and select family members. My parents attended, looking both proud and slightly stunned by the transformation I'd undergone. But the real shock was yet to come. Mark and Rachel had no idea what was waiting for them. The ultimate karmic payback that would make our past look like a mere prelude to the main event. As I stood on that beautiful beach, holding Alex's hand, I knew one thing for certain. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living your best life and becoming someone they could never even dream of being. The universe has a way of bringing people exactly where they need to be. And for Mark and Rachel, that place was about to be rock bottom. Our wedding wasn't just a celebration of love with Alex. It was a strategic moment of absolute perfection. We'd carefully planned every detail, including who would receive the wedding invitation. Yes, Mark and Rachel received theirs, not as a reconciliation attempt, but as a calculated move. The wedding was a spectacle of success. My startup had just secured a massive venture capital investment, valuing the company at $50 million. Alex had just been made partner at her law firm. We were the definition of power couple, young, successful, and radiating confidence. When Mark and Rachel walked in, their faces were priceless. Mark looked like he'd aged 10 years, balding, with a paunch that definitely wasn't there during our relationship. Rachel, once so smug, now looked worn down, her designer knockoff dress screaming desperation. But the real twist? During the reception, I made a strategic announcement. Not just about our wedding, but about a new company initiative. We were expanding internationally, and I was looking to hire top talent. The room was filled with industry leaders, potential investors, and media. Mark, who had been struggling to find stable work, saw an opportunity. During a break, he approached me, all fake smiles and desperate networking. "Hey, maybe we could catch up? I've got some great ideas for your company," he said, trying to sound casual. I looked him dead in the eye. "Sorry, we don't hire people without integrity," I responded coldly. The look on his face was worth every moment of pain I'd endured. Rachel tried a different approach. She pulled me aside, tears in her eyes. "We made a mistake. Can't we be a family again?" My response was simple and devastating. "You made your choice years ago. This is the consequence." Alex, witnessing everything, squeezed my hand. She knew this wasn't about revenge, but about setting boundaries and showing that betrayal has consequences. The final blow came a month later. My parents, seeing the stark contrast between my life and Mark and Rachel's, finally understood the true depth of their betrayal. They reached out, apologizing for not believing me earlier, offering support. But I was done. Some wounds don't heal, some trust can't be rebuilt. Mark and Rachel had shown their true colors, and I had moved far beyond their petty games. Today, I'm happily married to Alex. We're building an empire together, traveling the world, and living a life that Mark and Rachel could only dream of. Their momentary betrayal became the catalyst for my ultimate success. To anyone out there going through a similar situation, keep moving forward. Your best revenge is your happiness, your success, and your peace. And to Mark and Rachel, thank you for showing me exactly who I didn't want in my life.